What the hell is going on, everybody? Levy back here again. Coming back from a horrible weekend last weekend. I'm not going to lie. I did really bad. I think I got 3 right. Started off with Mike Jackson, plus 700, winning from disqualification. So it was pretty much doomed from there. I hit on Quilling Aori, and then, but he was like minus 200, but I had to dump some money on him because I was pretty behind. And then, Felipe Lins got it done. Wasn't expecting that one. Tyson Pedro got it done. Should have seen that one coming, but, I thought I could get it done at plus 400. I hit on Charles Jourdain, though. That was good. Jordan Wright let me down, like, plus 180. Tough one. And then, I thought Clay Guido would get it done. And Puelles is a wizard, so can't feel too bad about that one. But I got Jessica Andrade right, but I was thinking about inside the distance. I didn't pull the trigger on that one. So it is what it is. Horrible, horrible, horrible weekend. I'm down a lot of money, but we're back here again. Looking to make a lot of money again, get back on top, and even do better than what I was because fuck it. Anyway, we got a fun one. You got Rob Font taking on Marlon Chito Vera in the main event. Huge spot for Marlon Vera here, and then Rob Font is fighting for relevance, and Marlon Vera is fighting for title contention, so it should be fun. You got Andre Arlovsky taking on Jake Collier. Jake Collier, if he beats Andre Arlovsky, he's going to be a legit heavyweight, top 15 material. Then you got a fun one, Andre Fili and Joe Anderson Brito. Not too familiar with Brito, honestly, but I liked what I saw from the tape. And Andre Fili, tough one last time, no contest, so he's looking to get a win here. And then the lucky bangers should be Jared Gordon, Grant Dawson, Darren Elkins, Tristan Connelly. This should be fun. And then you got Gerald MEERSCHAERT making his return. And also, main event of the prelims, you got King Kong, Alexander Romanov taking on Chase Sherman. So that should be a mauling there, hopefully. And, should be a pretty fun night. Let's get it rolling here. First fight of the night at flyweight, first fight in the prelims. Making his debut, Tatsuro Taira. And taking on Carlos Candelario. Taira fought outside of the organization. Is under the one banner. I think it's like one of their feeder organizations. He took on Rairua Fukuda. Not too long of a fight. First round, he gets a double to a clinch on the fence. And then he tries, he gets the body lock and gets the back trip. He's able to work into full mount. And then Fukuda's able to reverse him, but Taira is able to lock up that triangle and get the submission relatively quickly. And that's that. Kind of hard to find tape on the guy. But I liked what I saw out of it. A lot of aggression and some pretty clean technique. Carlos Candelario took on Victor Altamirano his last fight. In the first round, he lands a head kick to a single leg takedown. He lands a 1-2 in the pocket, and then he's able to score another high single leg takedown. And then in the second round, he eats some straight shots in the pocket, but he lands a short left hook, and then he's able to transition to a double, and then he's able to switch to a single and pull it off the fence, get a takedown. But then in the third round, you can tell he gets noticeably more tired. He eats some leg kicks and some short hooks in the pocket. He gets jabbed up at range. He gets pressed forward, and he gets taken down with a body lock trip, and he gives up his back at that point. But then he's back on his feet. He's able to get a high single with the bow step takedown in the last 20 seconds, but he can't hold him down. At least he went for it, but couldn't really do much for the judges. Carlos Candelario, plus 190. Tatsuro Taira, minus 235. It's hard to say with new prospective flyweights. I just like what I saw out of Taira. I hate the line, but it's first fight of the night. Favorites usually win, barring disqualification. I just like Tatsuro Taira. I don't know. He might be the hot new thing at flyweight. Tatsuro Taira. That's my pick. Sorry. Okay, second fight on the prelims at 125 pounds. Women's flyweight, you got Gina Mazzani taking on Shayna Young. Mazzani took on Priscilla Cachoeira her last fight. In the first round, she presses with the overhand left, but she eats some counters on the way in. But she's able to get the body lock trip takedown, working the half guard, and then does some ground and pound there, lets her up, but she eats some shots on the fence, but then she's able to get the double leg. But she's looking a little desperate for these takedowns now. And then in the second round, she's able to get the single leg whenever she gets pressed, able to take it to half guard. She's able to take the back, but she can't hold it there. And then get back to the feet. She gets noticeably tired. She walks into a straight right from Priscilla. Priscilla hits hard. Her double leg attempt is stuffed, and she eats the right hook, and she's inside the pocket, and then she eats a flurry of right hands on the fence, and then just gets TKO'd. And most of this was from exhaustion, in my opinion. So the referee did stand it up, though. Didn't really agree with it, but is what it is. And then Shayna Young took on Stephanie Egger her last fight. In the first round, her kick gets caught and she gets clinched to the fence. She fires some straight shots and then she clinches to the fence, but then she gets hip tossed on the way in. And then she attempts a heel hook, but then she eats some ground and pound. Poor decision making. I hate seeing that stuff. Then in the second round, she eats overhand right inside the pocket. She lands some straight shots, works to the clinch. But then she gets taken down with the overhook, step through trip, and then she eats some hard elbows from full guard and gets TKO'd. Might have been stopped a little early, but she was getting beat up. Shayna Young, plus 155. Gina Mazzani, minus 180. Don't love the line, but I didn't see anything out of Shayna Young that gives me any concern against Gina Mazzani. I think Gina Mazzani will be able to take her down easily. Throw some ground and pound in there. Might be able to get the finish by the end of the third round. My pick here is Gina Mazzani. Third fight on the prelims, 155 pounds, men's lightweight. You got Ton Levy taking on Mike Breeden. Ton Levy took on Rafael Garcia his last fight. In the first round, he gets pressed and he throws a head kick, but then he circles out. He lands an inside leg kick, but he eats a hook on the return. Then his double leg attempt gets stuffed, and then he gets his back taken. But back on the feet, he gets taken down with the high single when they're striking inside the pocket. Then in the second round, his head kick is caught. He gets taken down, but works his way back up. He lands a body kick, but he walks into a couple 1-2s, eats some shots there. Then he gets a double leg takedown in the pocket, and then he's able to, well, Garcia pops back up, but he's still able to lock his hands around the back and just get back control on the feet. And then he lands a double leg right at the end of the round. Sorry, he gets double legged right at the end of the round. Rafa Garcia doubles him at the end of the round. So tried to some control, but you just can't really hold Garcia down. Garcia's a tough guy. In the third round, he starts pressing, and he lands some jabs and an uppercut, and he's able to stuff Rafa's single leg attempt, and then he tries to wizard kick, but he gives up his back with that, and then at the end, he gets taken down with the single leg. And then Mike Breeden took on Nick Compton outside the organization, FAC, I believe. In the first round, he circles outside, looks for some jabs, and he gets walks down, eats some straight shots to the head and the body. But then he starts pressing with his own 1-2s. Then he lands overhand right, and then he gets a body lock left takedown. He gets caught in an arm bar, but he's able to work his way out of it. But it looks sketchy there for a second. Then in the second round, he presses forward, lands some 1-2s. Then he lands a left hook, and then a flurry against the fence really hurts him there. Then he stuffs a double leg attempt, and he lets him up. Didn't want any part of Nick Compton on the ground after getting caught in that armbar. And then he, back on the feet, drops him with a left hook, and then back on the feet, lets him up, and he drops him with a jumping knee. Then in the third round, he lands a left hook, and then left hook, and then a straight right, and then a flurry against the fence. And then Compton takes a shot, and then he just pancakes his double attempt. And then that's about it. And he's not able to take him down. His defense gets better. Comes on in the third round of the fight. Cardio looked decent. And when he had his chance, he swarmed on him. So I liked what I saw out of Mike Breeden. Mike Breeden plus 165. Natan Levy minus 195. I don't know, man. I hate the line here, but Rafa Garcia is a lot tougher than Nick Compton is. And I liked what I saw in Natan Levy. The line here really sucks. But my pick here is Natan Levy, and I might eat my words here. There's a couple people debuting. Gotta pick one. Not all of them are gonna win. My pick here is Natan Levy. Alright, on to the feature fight of the prelims, 170 pounds, men's welterweight. Should be a fun one. You got Gabe Green taking on UFC newcomer Johan Lanisse. Gabe Green took on Philip Bro his last fight. In the first round, he pressures toward the fence. He gets able to get inside with the hooks, but he eats some straight shots on his way in. But then he's able to get a back trip off the fence, but then he gets swept in reverse in half guard, and he gets put in the mount for a second. But he's able to swim out, get him off his back, and then he's able to get an arm triangle, but he's not able to hold it. But, recovers after that in that first round. Second round, he drops him with the leg kick, and he presses forward with some wild hooks, and he lands to the body as well. Then he rocks him with the overhand right, lands a flurry of right hands, and then he walks into some straight shots on his way in. But then he's able to drop him with a leg kick at the end of the round, so takes some damage to gives more than he takes. Then in the third round, he hurts him with the leg kick, but then his kick is caught, and he gets taken down for a pretty long time, but he's able to use the underhook and work his way up. And then toward the end of the round, he's able to drop him with a leg kick. Pretty good performance from him. Ate a little too many shots for my liking, but pulled it out in rounds 2 and 3. Then Johan Lanisse, he fought outside the promotion. He Contender Series. Then he fought outside the promotion. Before that, he took on Justin Burlinson in the Dana White Contender Series. In the first round, he's able to get the double, and he's able to pop his head out of the guillotine. Then back on the feet, pumps the jabs at range. He throws some overhand rights, and he lands a left hook and gets the KO just like that, pretty fast. And then before that, he took on Evan Cutts outside the promotion. Then in the first round, he lands a straight right, but he eats some counter hooks on his way in. But then he lands a counter left hook off of Cutts' straight, and then he lands overhand right whenever he gets pressed forward. And then he's able to stalk him and pump the jab to end the first round. Second round, he gets pressed, but he lands some hooks inside the pocket. Then he lands a step-in uppercut, and then a straight right, and then another uppercut to the body, and then just gets a TKO with the hook flurry. So look for his opportunity strike. Took him a little bit to get going, but really turned it on and got the finish there. Johan plus 120 and Gabe Green minus 140. And I like Johan Lanise here. I know he's UFC newcomer, but I think that he has more power. I think Gabe Green gets hit a little too much. I think he got some momentum coming off the Contender Series. A little worried about the second and third rounds, but the line's pretty close. Slight underdog. I'm going to go with them. Other bet, if you want some extra action, under 1.5, plus 110. Why not? All right. Co-main event of the prelims, 125 pounds, men's flyweight. You got Daniel LACERDA taking on Francisco Figueiredo. LACERDA took on Jeff Molina his last fight. In the first round, he pumps the leg kicks in the pocket. He shoots a double, and he's able to get around the back in standing position. Then he's able to jump on, get it back for a short moment, but then he slides off. But he attempts the armbar on his way down, but he gets reversed, and Molina is able to get on top of him. And then he throws up some sub attempts, like maybe like triangle or armbar, kind of half-assed, but just eats some ground and pound in the first round, unfortunately. Then the second round, he eats a straight right in the pocket off of his leg kick, and then he gets dropped and TKO'd from that. So, tough one for him, but Jeff Molina is pretty good. And then Francisco Figueiredo took on Malcolm Gordon his last fight. In the first round, he gets shot to the fence and he gets taken down, but reversed. He gets taken down, but he's able to reverse the position with the overhook, keep the overhook, and bridge his hips up. And then he goes for a leg lock, but he gets reversed. Dumb decision, in my opinion. Can't stand that stuff anymore. Then in the second round, he defends a single off the fence, able to defend a double leg. And then he gets pressed and eats some odd hooks, but he's able to pump jabs at range. He moves in and out. And then he lands straight right and then some knees to the body. But then he gets taken down with a trip in the clinch in the second round. Kind of did that work for nothing, it seems like. But then in the third round, he misses the jump knee and gets taken down. Another stupid thing he did. But he's able to get his back toward the fence. He's able to stand up, but he turned his back when he stands up, and he's able to get around Gordon's back. But then he gets clinched to the fence, can't hold the position. Then he's able to get the body lock trip off the fence, and he tries for the armbar. At the end of the round, can't get it. Loses decision. Too many dumb things, in my opinion. Figueiredo plus 100, Daniel LACERDA minus 120. I'm going with Daniel LACERDA. I thought he fought Jeff Molina pretty tough, even though he got finished. First round is he's going to come out hard in the first round. Hopefully he had some time to train, get his conditioning up. But Francisco Figueiredo's ring IQ is too low, in my opinion. He's been doing this too long. The line's pretty even. My pick here is Daniel LACERDA. On to the main event of the prelims. We've been waiting a week for it. 265 pounds, men's heavyweight. You got Alexander King Kong Romanov taking on Chase Sherman. We might see a dead body. Romanov took on Juan Espino his last fight. Did this last week. I'm going to do it again real quick. He pressures to the fence, gets the clinch trip, and takes the bag, and he keeps the clinch on the fence. But then he gets taken down with the hip toss, just getting a little too overzealous and kind of relaxed in that clinch position there. But decent first round for him. Second round, eats a straight right, and he clinches, but he can't hold the clinch. And then he lands a hook blitz to a clinch, but he's able to get the single. And then full guard, ground and pound, he's able to get around Juan's back. But then back on the feet, his clinch position gets reversed. But then he's able to blitz forward and then get the single leg against the fence and just kind of hold it there. Then in the third round, things get interesting. He gets a single to the fence. Then he gets taken down with the body lock, and then he works his back up to the fence, and Juan hits him in the crotch, and they can't continue. Goes to majority decision, and Romanov gets the victory. I don't know if I agree, but it is what it is. MMA is really annoying me right now. Chase Sherman took on Jake Collier his last fight. In the first round, he gets pressed and eats a straight right and some hooks on the inside. Then he's able to land a counter uppercut, but his kick gets caught. He gets hit with a jab and pushed down, and then he gives up full mount, eats some ground and pound, turns over, gives his back. And Jake Collier gets that rear naked choke in, no hooks, gets a submission just like that. Chase Sherman quit in my opinion. Chase Sherman last week was plus 800. Now he's plus 1100. And Romanov last week plus 1375. Now he's, sorry, minus 1375. Now he's minus 2200. The line jumped significantly. My thoughts haven't changed. My pick here is Alexander Romanov. I think he's going to murder Chase Sherman. I hope he doesn't really murder him, but you know what I mean. He's going to roll right over him. But the knockout or TKO for Romanov is plus 130. I think that's a good bet. It's either that or submission. I think the TKO is a good bet. My pick here is Alexander King Kong Romanov. First fight on the main card at 185 pounds. Should be a banger, maybe. Krzysztof Jotko taking on Gerald Meerschaert, men's middleweight. Needs some excitement right now, in my opinion. Jotko took on Misha Serkinov his last fight. In the first round, he gets clinched to the fence, but he's able to defend the trips. Eats a jab, but he lands a 1-2, but he eats a counter hook. But then he lands a leg kick and circles that range. Honestly, not much happens in this entire fight. In the second round, he gets inside and lands a strike and gets clinched, but he defends the single leg attempt. He steps in, lands a 1-2-1 combination. He's able to dip the jab, and he's able to work his way out of the clinch. Then in the third round, he gets taken down with the single, and he gets in the front headlock position, but he gives up his back on the cage, but he gets out relatively quickly, but then he gets blast doubled on the way out, but doesn't stay down for too long. Then he gets a step in clinch trip, but he can't gets the attempt, but he's not able to complete it fully. But then break out of there, he presses with a jab and then a hook in the clinch, and then he gets a body lock trip right at the end of the round. Possibly stole it, whatever. Gerald Meerschaert took on Dustin Solfus his last fight. Tough one for him. In the first round, he lands a step-in body kick and then gets the blast double takedown. Then he slides off the back, gets reversed. He throws up an armbar attempt, but loses it. Then the second round, he tries to get inside plum tie, but then he gets doubled off the fence for that. And then on the ground for the whole round, basically. Then in the third round, he gets a clinch to the fence. He lands some knees to the body, and he pulls the guillotine. No good. Completely. Stolfitz, was on the opposite side, wasn't going to get it, held on to it too long in my opinion. And then they get into a couple wild hook exchanges in the pocket, then he gets blast doubled, but he's able to throw him off his back, and he's able to take Stolfitz's back and gets a rear naked choke submission with one hook with like maybe a minute 30 left to go, 2 minutes, something like that. You know, I thought he was losing the whole fight basically, but he found a way to get it done. Meerschaert plus 140, Jotko minus 160. Tough one. I've been going back and forth. I think I've been thinking Jotko can make it a boring fight and jab up Meerschaert, keep him off of him, win a boring decision. But I'm thinking Meerschaert might be able to get in there late in the fight, get a clinch, get a trip, maybe get to his back, something. I don't know. I like the plus money, and Meerschaert's on a roll here. I think he's on a resurgence. Jotko just doesn't do enough for me. My pick here is Gerald Meerschaert. I like the plus money. And then Meerschaert submission plus 300. Can't be mad at that. My pick here is Gerald Meerschaert. Second fight on the main card, 145 pounds. Should be a banger. You got Darren the Damage Elkins taking on Tristan Connelly. Elkins took on Cub Swanson his last fight, tough one for him. First round, he walks into a jab and a 1-2. He returns with the overhand right. Then he pops him with the straight right, but then he eats a left hook as he's coming forward. Then he gets rocked with a step-in, right hook from Cub. Then he eats a 1-2 combination at range, and then he gets dropped and gets TKO'd with the wheel kick. So that was dropped with the wheel kick, TKO'd after that. He didn't need any follow-up shots. He was out. Tough one. The damage can only take so much damage, I guess. Tristan Connelly took on Pat Sabatini his last fight. Pretty good fight. This is about a year ago, I believe, so a little bit of layoff for Tristan. But in the first round, he pressures to the fence, eats a 1-2, but then he walks into overhand right, and then he gets dropped, and he gives up his back with the rear naked choke position. Sabatini able to get that body triangle for the majority of the round. Then in the second round, he lands a step-in overhand, but he gets taken out with the blast double, and then he gets put in the crucifix for a short moment, and then he gives up his back, gets written out basically the whole round. Third round, he throws the overhand, and he gets clinched to the fence, but he's able to stuff the single leg attempt. He starts stuffing these takedowns more and starts slowing the pace of the fight down, which I really liked. And then they get into a clinch battle on the fence, but he eats a body combination from Sabatini, but then he's able to stop the single leg attempt and get the clinch. And then he's able to cut him off on the fence, land an overhand right, and then he's able to get the body lock trip takedown off of the fence. And, he won the third round. He looked really good, just took him a little while to get going. Tristan Connelly's a beast. I thought it was a decent performance from him overall. And then he was coming down from 170 on top of all that. I thought he looked pretty decent. Tristan Connelly plus 150, Darren Elkins minus 170. Another tough one. Tristan Connelly didn't really amaze me, But even in Darren Elkins against Derek Minner, he took a ton of damage, and you can only take so much damage for so long. He just got knocked the fuck out. Tristan Connelly, not necessarily a knockout artist, but I think he can hurt him. I think that damage might add up. I think Tristan Connelly's going to be in his face. I think first round, Elkins might have a good round. I think Connelly can come on strong in second and third round. I like the plus money here. My pick here is Tristan Connelly, and then you want to go under 2.5 plus 165. I don't think it'll hurt to throw some money on there. My pick here is Tristan Connelly. All right, on to the feature fight of the main card at 155 pounds. You got Jared Flash Gordon taking on Grant Dawson. Should be a fun one here. As I said, these two right here are interchangeable for my low-key bangers. Actually, not even low-key, just the bangers to watch. Jared Gordon took on Joe Solecki his last fight. In the first round, he hits a 1-2 and gets taken down with a body lock. He gives up his back, and Solecki gets both hooks in. Then he's able to stand up and slide him off his back. And then he's able to get half guard for the end of the round, but doesn't really do much with it. Then in the second round, he hits a body kick, and he throws a straight, and he gets body locked and pressed to the fence, and he gets taken down, and he pops right back up. And he's able to keep the whizzer, and then he hit bumps him, and he's able to circle and reshoot, shoots the double, and he's able to get on top. Then in the second round. Then in the third round, he presses with the 1-2, and then he backs out of range, presses with some jabs and an overhand. He's able to shoot the single, and then it gets the clinch to the fence. Then he lands some underhook. He gets the underhook and is able to take him down with a knee pick. Can't keep him down, has him down for a quick second, and then they break out of there, and he steps back, and he lands a hook, and then they get a clinch battle, and he's able to get the clinch to the fence, and, just kind of outpoint him in the third round. Didn't go as hard as I would have liked him to, but, he tried for his takedowns. But, Solecki is a hell of a guy on the ground, and Gordon, over the course of the fight, was able to stop his takedowns and actually take him down. So I thought he performed pretty well. Grant Dawson took on Rick Glenn his last fight. In the first round, he shoots the double to the fence, and he's able to take him back down again. And then he takes his back whenever Glenn tries to get up. And then he gets the body triangle and lands some ground and pound. Doesn't just try to hold a position, really trying to do some damage there, which I liked. In the second round, he gets a blast double, but he gets ruled through. And he's not able to complete the single leg off the fence, but he's able to get the body lock, back trip, and then gets into side control for the remainder of the round. Then in the third round, he shoots the double, and then he reshoots again, but he's too far out at this point. You can tell he's a little tired. And then his double gets stopped, and he gets pancaked over into half guard. Then he eats some heavy ground and pound and gets put in a DARS with like 15 seconds left to go. And then the buzzer sounds. He doesn't tap. He's not unconscious, but it doesn't look good, and he has trouble getting up, and it doesn't look good for the judges. And arguably, the third round's at 10-8 for Rick Glenn, so it goes to a draw. I don't know. You want to give it a 10-8, you could. I don't think it would have been fair for Dawson to lose that fight, so I guess a draw is honestly the right call in this sense. But he looked amazing the first two rounds, just did a little too much in the third round, and got caught in that DARS. So I think if he can fix those things, besides that, he looked really good, and he could even take off around. Just cannot take that much damage. He took a beating on the ground in the third round. Grant Dawson minus 180, Jared Gordon plus 155. I've been going back and forth. I just don't think Gordon has enough activity. I think Dawson, he needs to change his pace and just work a little bit slower and not force those takedowns as much and not take as many bad shots. And I heard he's not with James Krause. I guess that's okay. He's an American top team. James Krause isn't everything, but I think Grant Dawson can keep that same attitude and keep the pressure up, but not put himself in his bad positions and not kill himself on bad takedowns. My pick here is Grant Dawson. Okay, sorry about that. On to the real feature fight of the main card, 145 pounds. Men's featherweight, you got Andre Touchy Fili taking on Joe Anderson Brito. Fili took on Daniel Pineda his last fight. In the first round, he pumps his jabs, rocks him with the jab, and he drops him with the 1-2, lands a flurry against the fence. He's able to stuff the double leg attempt, but he gets clinched to the fence. But he eats some leg kicks at range, but then he lands a head kick, a left hook, and then another head kick, and then he hits a lat drop on him. And then back on his feet, he hurts him with the body kick. Then he pushes him over, lands some nasty ground and pound in the first round. Second round, he lands a body kick at range, and then an eye poke happens, and no contest. But Fili was so dynamic, really calm, picking his shots, moving in and out, so smooth. Looked really good. A good bounce back from the Bryce Mitchell fight. So, unfortunate end like that, but I thought he looked amazing. And then Joe Anderson Brito took on Bill Algeo his last fight. In the first round, he lands overhand to the body lock to the fence. He's able to get the double, like, takedown, takes the back, puts both hooks in, but then he gets reversed. Algeo kind of explodes into him. But then back on the feet, he eats a jab and then a front kick. Then in the second round, he eats the right hook in the pocket, but he presses with the left hook and then a clinch to the fence. But his double attempt, it gets stuffed. And then he pumps leg kicks, lands some hooks when he gets on the inside. He lands a 1-2 against the fence. And then he shoots the single, but he gets reversed. And then he eats back, and then back on the feet, eats some knees in the front headlock position against the fence. And then he presses forward and he lands a 1-2. Then in the third round, he blitzes to the clinch on the fence. Then he lands some hooks in the pocket, but he walks into some jabs. Kind of eating too many shots, in my opinion. And then he gets taken down with the body lock trip against off the fence at the end of the third round. And his thing was like, his striking was really good. He would land some nice straight shots, some hooks, and then he would shoot that takedown. And Algeo was pretty good at defending them, and he would waste his energy, and he wouldn't get them. And he could have had Algeo hurt, but he never followed up with the shots. So, not the best ring IQ. Brito, plus 210. Philly, minus 260. I hate the price tag, but I really liked what I saw out of Philly. I like what I saw out of Brito, too. Just those IQ, just those bad IQ situations I saw. It's not going to work against Philly. Philly's takedown defense is good. My pick here is Andre Philly. So, the co-main event of the night that I don't think should be the co-main event, but whatever. 265 pounds, men's heavyweight. You got Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky taking on Jake Collier. This is Jake Collier's big test. If you want to make it to top 15, you got to get through Andre Arlovsky. The last guy to get through Andre Arlovsky was Tom Aspinall, and he's top 5. So, huge spot for Jake Collier. Arlovsky took on Jared Vanderaa his last fight. You know, classic Andre Arlovsky fight. In the first round, he lands overhand right, circles off, lands overhand right at range, off Vandeera's hook. Not too much happens in this fight, to be honest. Then in the second round, he gets clinched and eats some knees in the clinch. But then back in the center, he lands a head kick and then a straight right. Then he lands a right cross on the inside, but he eats a counter from Vanderaa. Then in the third round, he just skirts on the outside. He knows he's up 2-0. And he lands overhand right, but he gets countered with the left hook a lot of the times. And Vanderaa just lands some more shots on him. There's really not too much to go in depth about. So, he wins it 2-0, I guess. Split decision, though. Jake Collier took on Chase Sherman his last fight. In the first round, he presses with a straight right, lands some odd hooks and a jab, but he eats an uppercut while he's swinging the hooks. Gets a little reckless there. Then he catches the kick and lands a jab, pushes him down, gets on top, ground and pound with some elbows and full mount, and then Chase Sherman bails out to his back, gets a rear naked choke submission, no hooks. Big boy gets it done. Really good performance from him. I don't think Sherman is the best talent in the world, but he rolled right through him. So that's all you can ask for. Jake Collier, plus 120. Andre Arlovsky, minus 140. Unfortunately, I just don't think Jake Collier is elite. And a while ago, I made this mistake with Chase Sherman. I thought Chase Sherman would get past Arlovsky, and it's a lot harder than you think. Arlovsky doesn't have a ton of movement, but he's very elusive. He picks his spots, and he outlands you, and he's a veteran. He's been doing this forever. He does all the tricks. And I just don't think Collier can get past them, unfortunately. And you go for Andre Arlovsky by decision because that's how he always wins, plus 130. You got to take that one. So my pick here is Andre Arlovsky, minus 140 money line, decision plus 130. The Pitbull. All right, on to the main event of the evening, 135 pounds, men's bantamweight, the most stacked division in the UFC. You got Rob Font taking on Marlon Chito Vera. Huge opportunity for Marlon Vera. If he beats Rob Font, he's right there top 5. Looking at 1, maybe 2 fights away from a title shot. And then, Rob Font is just fighting for relevancy here. Marlon Vera is a good win, but he just had to lose to Aldo, so he's fighting just to stay in the picture at this point. Rob Font took on Jose Aldo his last fight. In the first round, he gets the high single and gets around his back standing. And then back on the feet, he pumps some jabs at range, and then he lands a jab to the body. And he lands a jab, then he hits a body shot as his jab's extended. Pretty sneaky. But then he hits a body hook and a jab when he's trying to get on the inside, and then he gets dropped to 1-2 at the end of the round. I really thought Rob Font was going to roll him over, like run right through him, but Jose comes out up big in the end of the round, steals the round. Then in the second round, he gets rocked with a 1-2 in the pocket. He starts pressing jabs and then a 1-2. Then in the third round, he presses the jabs, but he eats some leg kicks from Aldo. Aldo's bringing the leg kicks back. And then his double leg gets stuffed and he gets reversed. And then and then he lands a jab and then a straight shot to the body, but then he gets dropped to the leg kick by Aldo. Then the 4th round, he eats a straight right in the pocket, but he gets dropped with the knee to the body. And then he grabs a single when he's on the ground, but Aldo is able to sprawl and get behind him and get the half guard from there. And 5th round, more the same. But Rob Font, you know, decent cardio throughout the fight. But, yeah, man. Aldo just was able to get on the inside, and I thought Rob Font was a little overzealous with his jabs. And then Aldo would be able to get on top of Font because Font would take a shot too far out, and Aldo's defense is pretty good. Rob fought a good fight, but Jose Aldo is still Jose Aldo, and he's still very much a factor at 135. But Marlon Vera took on Frankie the Answer Edgar his last fight. In the first round, he stuffs a double. He stalks forward, but he eats some hooks from Edgar, and then his kick gets caught and he gets taken down. And he eats some ground and pound, but then he lands some hard up kicks. Usually up kicks mean nothing, but these were flush, and you could tell he's hurt Frankie. And then in the second round, he lands some knees to the body, but he gets taken out with a double, eats some ground and pound, but he rolls out over his back, feet over his head, rolls up. Decent escape there. And then he gets pressed with hooks on the feet, but he lands a knee to the head. Then he lands a front kick to the body, and then he drops him with a jump knee to the chest. Then in the third round, he eats some hooks in the pocket, but he's able to block a lot of them. And then he's able to stuff the single leg attempt. Then he gets taken down with a double off of his low kick, but he pops right back up. And then he throws a jab, and Frankie moves back, and then he throws up that front kick right underneath the chin, knocks him out, sets it up perfectly. And pretty vicious knockout. And, you know, Marlon, you could just tell the whole fight, he's probably losing, and he was just so calm, and you could tell he was just looking for something big, and he got it. And his takedown defense was great. Rob Font, not the best wrestler, but he has some wrestling. He tried it against Jose Aldo. So I think his defense will be good enough for Rob Font. Marlon Vera, plus 115. Rob Font, minus 135. It's a tough one here. I just think it's Marlon Vera's time. I was unsure about him, but then after this Frankie Edgar fight, and he knocked him out, I'm like, okay, you know. And then you take a look at his fight against Aldo, and he looked pretty good. It was close first couple rounds, and then Aldo got around his back for the rest of the third round, kind of neutralized him, but didn't take too much damage there. Still very much in the fight besides that third round. I thought he looked good. And you go over 4.5, minus 160. I think that's a safe bet. But I like the plus money. My pick here is Marlon Chito Vera. All right, everybody, thank you. I appreciate you guys following me. Sorry about last week. Shit happens, I guess. Maybe I just suck, but I'm trying to get better. Leave some comments down below. If you have any suggestions, if you guys did better than me, let me know. I'm always trying to learn. Check the description, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that stuff. I'll do a quick post-fight recap, or I'll put some stuff out on Twitter. If you guys are asking some questions, you can hit me up there. But I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody watching me. Leave a comment down below. Talk to me. Let me know what's up. Got a big pay-per-view coming up next weekend. Really excited for that. But, you know, really want to get back on track. I did my research here. I didn't pick as many dogs. I was a little more sensible, a little more realistic with my picks here. So, I want to see some violence, and I want to see some underdogs get their due, and I want to see some money for all of us. So, let's get that money. Thanks, guys.